Hey guys, April Melvin here, and we are talking about spiritual battles. And in particular, we are talking about spiritual battles that involve people. It's going to be a big one. All right, guys, before we get into the meat of the topic, I want to take just a quick sec and thank you guys so much for watching this video. I really appreciate it. And I would ask that you consider subscribing to my channel. This channel is just about faith. And so in it, we talk about just different, lessons from the Bible that I'm studying or currently going through. And if we put out new content weekly. So if that sounds like something that interests you guys, please consider subscribing to the channel. And if this video is helpful, guys, please give me a like and let me know in the comment section. I would really appreciate it. Well, guys, in this set of videos that I have been talking about, we've been looking at spiritual battles. And so often, I think when we talk about spiritual battles in the church, we talk about it from kind of a 30,000-foot view. And in this series, I really wanted to get into the weeds. I wanted to provide some real applicable tips and tricks in order to get through and be victorious in our spiritual battles. Well, the last video I did was spiritual battles within circumstances. But guys, these next 3 videos, and yeah, it's going to take 3 videos, we're going to be looking at spiritual battles that involve people. And guys, these are the messiest spiritual battles that we face. In fact, if you go to our key set of scriptures for this, which is in Ephesians 6, and you look in verse 12, it really kind of hones in, right? In Ephesians 6, Paul says, "For our struggle is not against flesh and blood, but against the rulers, against the authorities, against the cosmic powers of the darkness." So it's not against people. It feels like it a lot of times, but truly our spiritual battles are not with people. And the minute that we can separate those two and really identify what's going on, we start heading in the place of victory. So that's what I wanted to focus on in the next 3 videos. Today, we're going to be talking about missed expectations. Okay, so what do I mean when I say missed expectations? Well, guys, we all walk around with expectations, right? Whether it's from the culture that we're in or the way we were raised, we all have things in our brain that tell us this person should behave this way in this situation. And when that doesn't happen, sometimes we kind of melt down. Some really easy off the top of my head, expectations that I personally have is when my husband and I got married, the expectation that I had is that he kills all of the spiders. I didn't quite write it in the marriage vows, but that is an expectation that I hold very near and dear to my heart and make sure that he executes. Another expectation would be when I get all gussied up from church, I expect him to tell me, "Ooh, you look nice today," right? We have those expectations. One that we would have with friends, when it's our birthday, we expect them to say happy birthday. We expect them to acknowledge the day. Those expectations, they are predetermined behavioral rules that we have and that we put on other people. The challenge is, we can't control other people and they're not robots and they can't read your mind. And so often what happens in a conflict is we have an expectation how someone should behave. And when they don't, we find ourselves in this spiritual battle. So how is this a spiritual battle? Well, in that moment when someone has failed to live up to whatever expectation you think that they should, it's very easy to allow yourself, to allow those darts to enter and those thoughts to simmer about how angry you are or maybe how frustrated you are. A great example would be, one of your good friends missed your birthday, right? You didn't get any happy birthday from them, and that was a failed expectation. You expected that they would wish you a happy birthday, and when that didn't happen, the enemy, who's so good, he's been doing this for so long, he starts throwing those darts of just anger and frustration. And now all of a sudden you're thinking about, well, then this person did this to me, and this person did this, and this person did this. And you start adding all of these missed expectations up, and you find yourself now in this really heated position at this person because they didn't wish you a happy birthday. And I know that seems like a crazy slippery slope, but guys, think about it. We've all been in that situation where a missed expectation led to this and to this, and it's this giant big thing. And guys, keep in mind, the enemy is not fancy. All he wants to do, his sole goal, is to kill, steal, and destroy. It's to create division and distraction, right? So that we can be ineffective for the kingdom. And however he can accomplish it, he's happy to do it. So if he can rile up a missed expectation and shoot some very well aimed darts at you to create that situation of division, then he is happy. So in that moment, when you have a failed expectation, the spiritual battle that you're facing, again, guys, if you're looking at that person and you're getting angry at them because they didn't meet your expectations, you're looking the wrong way. You need to turn inward in order to be victorious in this moment. All right, so how are we going to be victorious here? Well, one, recognize the difference between someone actually being mean or someone just not living up to your expectation. And guys, we know what those look like. In that moment, when you start to feel frustrated, let's take that happy birthday example. It's such a small, perfect, everyday example that I think gets used so often. Somebody fails to mention happy birthday to you. Instead of looking to that person, take a moment, pause. Ask yourself, is this someone going out of their way to try to harm me, or do I just have an expectation of how that person should behave and that person's not meeting it? If it's the latter, and with the happy birthday thing, it's totally the latter, right? Now you can begin to work through, right, that expectation and not allow that division to happen. Control your thoughts. You don't have to allow your thoughts to spiral. You don't have to start pulling out that tally sheet, right, and start going over all of the different times that this person has failed your expectation, which is what we do. You can take control of your thoughts and say, you know what? Okay, it's okay. This did not happen in this situation. I expected something different, but that's okay. I'm going to choose in this moment to not allow the enemy to get in and convince me that this person is an awful person and this person doesn't like me, and I'm not gonna bring up old evidence to convince myself of that, and I'm not gonna go around and rally troops to my position to show them how awful this person is, right? We're gonna nip it in the bud, because we cannot be a people of division. We need to be a people of love. And in that moment, when somebody has missed an expectation, when they've completely fallen flat on what you think they should do, this is a great opportunity to lean in and love them. Maybe there's something going on. Maybe this person had a very busy day. Maybe this person was stressed out about something that's going on in a marriage, or maybe they're struggling with another relationship, or maybe they are worried about work or finances, or who knows. Like, there's a ton of reasons why someone can fail to meet an expectation that doesn't have anything necessarily to do with you. But because we are such self-centered people, we always turn those back to us and make them about us. So again, in this moment, you're in this spiritual battle. Someone's failed an expectation of yours. Instead of making it about you and start figuring out all the different ways this person's failed you, take a moment and recognize that this is your expectation. They might have been raised differently, or maybe something is going on. Maybe they're struggling. Maybe you need to reach out to them, right? don't allow your thoughts to lead you further and further away from the primary goal of Christianity, which is to love people. And guys, this is such an easy thing that can quickly get out of hand and keep you further from the goal of really being those loving servants that Christ calls us to be. And so I really believe that so many of our problems with people arrive from these failures to meet our expectations. And I think once we can recognize that that's what it is, and it's not the person being a jerk, it's not the person doing things to harm you directly, they just don't see the situation in the same light, or again, something might be going on. When we can reframe our brain to look at that and take control of our thoughts, then the enemy can no longer use those expectations to get us into a spiritual battle. All right, guys, so that's the first part about spiritual battles involving people. It's really identifying those expectations that we have and being able to separate those from what's going on. So important to do that. Guys, if this video was helpful in any way, please, I would appreciate you giving it a like. Let me know in the comment sections if you've been struggling with some missed expectations. I'm going to rat on myself and tell you I absolutely have. I have very high expectations for how people should behave, and when they don't, I do get very frustrated. And I am definitely working through that. So if you are in the same boat with me, please let me know in the comment section. And guys, come back next week. Next week, we are going to be looking at assumptions, and that is like the sister of missed expectations. A lot of times when we assume things about people, we can really get ourselves in trouble. So come back next week, and I will see you then.